Guys, we're back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play. And before we get started, I'm not in my normal spot. You might notice there's a dark background behind me. I'm sitting on the floor. And for the next few episodes, you might just have to deal with that because I'm in Rhode Island for the next few weeks working out of a property in Cranston, Alpine Country Club. It's another Trin Privé facility. They needed help this summer, and here I am, here to help. So just for the next few weeks, you'll be seeing me probably sitting right here on the floor in this very nice apartment on the University of Rhode Island campus. So don't think that I've moved or anything like that. It's just a temporary thing. But I'll be back in my home studio before too long. But today we've got an awesome guest with us, and it's funny because this guy's been on not this show before, but prior to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, I hosted a show called the Friday Foursome. He was on that show promoting a totally separate product. We'll talk about that later tonight. But before we do anything, make sure you click the subscribe button down below. Make sure every chance you can, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. It's easy to find the show, but the easiest way is by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click the yes for notifications. That way you get this every Wednesday morning delivered right to your inbox. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, and the focus of tonight's episode is golf life. Now, that sounds pretty generic, right? Golf life, right? Well, this guy that I'm talking to this evening has taken that into a concept of creating just golf content. Just go to golflife.com and you're going to find so much content, whether it's on Tiger, whether it's on golf carts, whether it's on travel, and you name it. The amount of content this guy produces is just incredible. So before I just jump in and tell you all I know about him and everything that he's got going on, because like I said, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. Let's welcome Michael Billingsley to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play. Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Ricky. Great to rejoin you.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? And it's funny, though, because I follow your content online and we talk on Twitter all the time, and I sometimes even lose fact that I'm talking to you, right? Like, and I retweet this or whatever, and it's just fun to reconnect. Now, you're 3 hours behind me, so the sun is still up where you are. It's a little dark.
I try to do this outside because it's so nice outside right now. It's just setting, but it's a little windy, so we came in.
That's all right. You got an aquarium behind you. And this episode actually airs on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. So it doesn't matter what time it is here, what time it is there. It'll be morning when this episode airs. And I've got a new goal for shows going forward. I would like to see if we can get to 100 views within 24 hours. Had that with a show not too long ago, and we got to 175 views in like 6 hours, and I was like, golf clap right there. And that was a gentleman who runs the Golf Locker Room Managers Association, which is just a total random thing. Yeah. Awesome interview. Go back and check it out. It was a few weeks before this, and it was a lot of fun. But let's just start with Golf Life. Give us an overview of what it is, what kind of content you're creating, and just kind of what the concept is all about.
Well, it's only a half-hour show, so I'll try to be brief. But was it 20? That's my wife getting a little refreshment over there. But about 26 years ago, 27 somewhere, I lose track. I decided we did a ski show in Vail, and we decided to do a golf show. We're like, we do a ski show. Let's do a golf show. And back then, you could get stuff on cable TV, and we got very good at that, and we got the shows on Fox Sports. I think I've told you this story before. We gave away ski trips to Vail to get on the air. Back in those days, it was great. And we started doing, the golf show. It was called Resort Golf in America. And in '98, we decided to rebrand it as Golf Life, and we started with Golf Life. And then in 2007, I started working with Dave Brennan, who I always credit as a great mentor of mine. He's a wonderful guy. He ran Golf Tips magazine, and he drove me around Carlsbad area and introduced me to all the manufacturers. And we changed the show and made it more of a magazine show. And Golf Life at that time was on the air across the United States for Fox Sports Net. And it's been the national show for Fox for going on probably almost 15 years now, maybe longer. Fox loves it. They run the tar out of it. It's been on, it airs over 300 times a month on Fox Sports across the United States. We give it to them and they run it and they run it and they run it. And it runs like, if there's a rain delay in the Cardinals in St. Louis or in New York or in LA, the Dodgers are rain delayed, or right before the Dodgers or at the Dodgers or in the morning on Sunday mornings, it comes on. And so you can't believe when we hear from people when they see it, and so we worked with Golf Magazine for several years. We renamed it Inside Golf Magazine, and then we took it back as Golf Life and got a hold of golflife.com, and it's just, we learned a lot from the Golf Magazine relationships. We started working with a lot of top 100 teachers, going on tour, and I love instruction. I just do. I even to this day, I can't get enough of it. So we really chronicle top teachers. We probably have more top teachers than anybody out there other than maybe golf.com and Golf Digest, because we've worked with them for so many years. And we have great tips and instruction, and then we love equipment. We like to show you how it fits into your game, so it's a lifestyle program. And then we love courses, so we try to take you on a course. In the old days, we were a course show. That's what we did. We're like a lot of these like regional, local shows that take you out and play the course and stuff. And so we compress that into a shorter segment. And then we've gone on tour and we ask the pros questions that they don't get a lot of times, because we talk to them about your game or lifestyle and advice for the average guy, and guys that we always go out there we like to go out there during the pro-ams, so they're in that mindset, so that they're really, they give great answers, right? Whether it's the Champions Tour or the LPGA or the PGA, they just give you great stuff, and they always answer great, because it's not the question that the average media guy walks up and asks them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of our ballywhack, and we've been doing it a long time. I think Golf Life's in its 18th season, and 19th and maybe 19th season, I guess. I can't even do math. And then we just started online. We've always had golflife.com, but we started an OTT channel, which OTT stands for over the top, which is all of the connected devices that people use, like Amazon Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, your phones, Android, your iPhone, your tablets, all of that. So you can get us on any device and watch our stuff. So that's our thing.
That's awesome. And, it's funny because, I, like I said earlier, we've known each other for so long, and just the content's so great. And it's just, it's cool to think that you're in so many places and are still growing, and the content is still, there's always going to be content. Some of the questions tonight, we'll talk about that content a little bit, but that's just awesome that you've had so much success and that you continue to grow and keep this brand alive and well in a market that's so saturated with golf content. If you need a blog post about anything, you just have to just go to Yahoo or Google and just type in golf news, and you're going to find the same story written by 75 different people. But your content's not that. Your content's golf, but it's very to the questions, not being the questions you're going to ask everybody every week. In the media center, it's stuff that's actually relevant to your audience and that's different, that gets them to maybe crack a smile and respond a little bit more than they would expect to. Now, Golf Life app, that's a new thing. That's something you wanted to talk about. I didn't even know you had an app coming. What's that all about, and what can people expect from that?
Well, I did a lot of research on this, and, cable TV is wonderful, right? We're in 90 million homes, and we're on all the time, and you can catch us. You can look at our schedule on golflife.com schedule, and you can find us in your market, and you can DVR us. And we're on Fox Sports Nets. We're on Madison Square Garden Network. We're on Yes Network. We're on a lot of these regional sports nets. In my market, it's actually called AT&T Sportsnet. That's where the Rockies are, actually. It's usually where your home teams are, whether it's your baseball team at the time. So in Seattle, for example, we were just in Seattle doing some stuff for Honma, which is one of our sponsors, at the Mariners Stadium, and they have the Mariners on. Root Sports is actually what it's called. So anyway, that's our deal on cable, right? But if you don't have cable, or you're not a cable person anymore, which a lot of people aren't, they're disconnecting. They're buying an Amazon Fire Stick, or they're buying a Roku or an Apple TV, or they just use their tablet, or they go online. Club.golflife.com is actually where you can go. And you can subscribe to our channel. You can see all of our episodes from historically, but what you get there is unbelievable amount of top 100 teachers. We have more top 100 teachers giving instruction and lessons and advice. It goes deep. I mean, you can imagine, Ricky, 18, 19, 20 years of doing this. I got some great guys, you know. I've got people, I've done long series with guys like my mentor is Chuck Cook. He's the guy that taught me how to compress a golf ball. And guys like Dave Pelz, who I love and have worked with a ton and done a ton of stuff. And John Tattersall in Atlanta, and you know, Sean Humphreys and Jeff Ritter, who I started working with before nobody even knew who Jeff was. He had like his hair coming out all over the place in Phoenix, and we got in trouble because he hit a ball across the fairway into the other fairway, and the pro came out, and we were like, sorry, you know. I mean, we've been doing stuff for years with wonderful, wonderful instructors. I love these guys. You know, they're the best. If you want to, Chuck Cook said it to me a long, long time. He said you wouldn't sit down at a piano to try to play Mozart without a piano lesson. And so many people, you know, this less than 3% of the golfers out there take a lesson, and not very many people go to a top teacher like Jim McLean, good friend of mine. You know, all these guys, you know, that are, whether they're the old guys that are the legends or a guy down the street that's an up and coming top teacher, and go work with them. But we've got them on video, and you can go to our app and you can download it on your Prime Fire Stick, or, you know, on your Apple TV, and just take your time and browse through and watch a little bit, or watch it on the range. And then we've got all kind of tours of great golf courses, and we've got stories and equipment features and reviews. And you know, we've really tried to make Golf Life much more editorial of late. We had gotten a little bit off kilter with too much product, I feel like, which is survival, right? So we reorientated our guideposts and started telling stories again, and we're doing a good job with that. We're just in Seattle. We went to this bar that is just the coolest place ever, where they've got a full putt-putt golf course inside this brewery. It's amazing, you know, and stuff like that. We went to Putts Golf, which is like this old retail golf shop that it's like you step back in the 1950s, you know, stuff like that. And
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. It's neat.
So you mentioned a lot of names that have, you know, a couple of them have been on this show. I've got so many stories of Jeff Ritter having been in Phoenix for so long. Yeah. He's now out in California, and I feel like, yeah, that long hair is still there too. He's not changed.
He's actually pretty darn sharp these days. He's got his you know, make the turn, and it's just wonderful. And if you want just one guy that just gives you a private membership, Make the Turn is phenomenal, and it's an app you can download. There's another app that you can get into. But back in the day,
his wife,
you know,
came on my show too. Him and his wife were the first. Like, I'm pretty sure I should go back and look, but I think him and his wife were the first two. You know, because she's got the golf kitchen stuff that she's doing with the fitness stuff. So
yeah, and the food and the diet,
they're a fun couple.
Everything. Yeah.
Now, I've known you for a long time. Like I've said, you've always got a new project. And before we went live, you even told me about a new project. But what are a couple of the quick things that are going on in your life outside of Golf Life right now?
Well, actually, it is related to Golf Life. So as I said, we started a Golf Life channel, the OTT channel, and it's an app you can download. And we have an enormous amount of content. But I realize that, you know, just doing a monthly show isn't probably possibly enough content. So we have strategized and come up with a way in which, just like you have, when you're actually a trailblazer in this, to integrate live content into this flow and create that content into our channel. So having sub-channels, if you will, premium channels. And we're going to use a concept I came up with. I don't want to say I come up with it, but it's what I call live to cloud. So, you know, you can be live, but you can be live to cloud, which is essentially what you're doing right now. But you can also do it where, if you think about it, like going back to my old broadcast TV days, and I've done a lot of event programming and stuff, and we used to call it live to tape, right? Where we recorded a live event, and then with using a truck, multicam, that type of thing, and then we go and we clean it up and we add graphics and do some things and what have you, and then we put out a show broadcast. So, being live on TV on ESPN or one time I was live, I had a live truck on HDNet and we had some problems. And let me tell you, that is one scary reality. So live to tape is a lot easier to deal with. Live to cloud is the same concept. And what we're going to do is we're going to facilitate these teachers I've talked about and some personalities. We work with a guy in Phoenix. I don't know if you know the Butsy, but he's a friend, and Josh Butler. He's got an Instagram account that's blowing up and doing really well. And he's a great personality. He's a comedian. He's really funny. So some various individuals, and we're going to pull them in and utilize that content in sort of a golf life channel type of approach. Well, we needed a place to do that. So I'm a coach, and this thing came up here a while back that kind of came up again with another coach that does basketball. And it was an opportunity to build a sports facility. So I dived in with both feet and decided to do it. And we sold our offices, our studios where Golf Life has been, which were, very nicely designed offices for our productions, but not really a studio per se. And this is now a 12,000 square foot facility. And I'm going to have 2 basketball courts, a full field. But on top of that, our production facility is in there. And it's a warehouse, but it's really well thought out. And above the production edit suites is a golf deck. And that golf deck is going to have a putting green and multiple simulators and a green screen and what's called a cyc wall. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a wall that's curved like you'd see in a big studio where they do like car commercials and stuff. So we'll have a corner cyc wall where you can paint it green or you can make it white, and it's an infinity wall as a background, and it makes production look really nice and high end. And so we can shoot products, we can shoot interviews, we can do inserts, we can do this type of stuff very easily. And so that's the idea, is to have that be sort of the studio basis for Golf Life. It allows Colton Little, who's our host now on Golf Life. Colton and I co-host. He does a majority of our stuff. It allows him and Travis Harper, who's the guy who you mentioned you talked to me. You actually talk to Travis most of the time because Travis is our guy on social media, and he's a wonderful voice of Golf Life, and
he does a good job making me think that he's you.
Yeah, he's great. Trav's a on top of it news kind of guy. He knows what's going on, and he's just wonderful. He's got a great personality, and he very engaging with people, and he keeps us going. And then Colton's a dynamic young guy who loves golf, loves the game, and he's inquisitive and he wants to know more and he wants to learn, and that's great. And then I kind of come in when we have some kind of product that you got to sort of look at and give the layman approach of how it works and what's going on, or ask questions from all my years of experience in this game that I love so much.
So let's go back to the app. How much is it, and where can people download it?
You can download it on any of the devices, and when you buy it, it's $7.99 a month, or you can buy it for $60 a year. But there's a lot of free content, so you can get a 7-day trial of it, and there's a lot of free stuff that you can watch and everything like that, and just sign up and try it out. Really easy to do. You don't have to pay anything to do that. And you can watch it on your phone, on your Android device, your Apple device, your tablet, or your computer. You can go to clubgolflife.com. So let's say you have an Apple TV at home. You can log in, download the app, use it there, or you have Roku or Amazon Prime or whatever. And then if you're on the golf course, you can fire it up on your phone, and it's an app that's full of content, and you can sit there and watch, maybe, whoever, maybe Chuck Cook's teaching you how to do the punch drill, or whatever. There's a putting tip from any number of guys that we've worked with or what have you, and you can watch it and then do it. Because I'm a real drill guy, so when I work with top 100 teachers, they're always like, what do you want to do? And I don't like the name tips per se, because a tip A tip is good. Tips can be great, but sometimes they're not for you. But a drill can be for everyone. So I always dig deep with guys and say, "Give me some drills. Give me some things that I can do to improve my game." And we've got how to hit this shot, how to hit that shot, how to understand how your wedges work, how to everything. I mean, just deep, deep content, mental game, fitness, everything. And that's the idea behind it. So you buy it, and then, like I say, we're gonna do live peek-ins with top teachers. We're gonna do live peek-ins with personalities, events on a consistent basis. We're the lifestyle of golf. That's what we are. Golf Channel is wonderful, but I always call it the putting network because you're watching people putt. And it's a great place. But let's face it, they've got a lot of the tours on there. They can't do this kind of content that much. It's difficult. They don't have the time. And so we're the only other kind of national TV property that does that on a consistent basis. And there are other regional and smaller, shows that are niche shows, but we try to be well-rounded. And we do, let's face it, we're not anything different. We're doing what Golf Magazine, which is a wonderful property, has done for 50 plus years, and Golf Digest has done. We would just do it in a video fashion. So you had a magazine subscription, now you have a digital online video magazine subscription, and it's going to be valuable for you, and I think it's something you'll enjoy.
So you talk about tips and drills. Speaking of drills, the guy that I work with, Bernard Sheridan, he's out of Impact Zone Golf in Naples at Tiburon, and I've been taking lessons with him for about 3 months, and that dude just, hey, this isn't working, or I'm doing this, or I'm hitting it this way, and he gives me a drill and says, do this for 10 times a day, and do this before you hit, and yada, yada, yada. And he's like the drill guy. Like, he's all about that. So if you haven't looked at him, and if you're not familiar with him, he's Par Breakers on Twitter, and his whole focus is just making more birdies. And check him out, because he's definitely dialed. You'd like his content, his teaching style.
Drills are everything, Ricky. But they're not everything. But you got to piece everything together. But they're key to me. Chuck Cook was the one that I always go back to. Chuck, everyone's like, you always talk about Chuck Cook, but he gave me 3 drills. And then I'd say, Chuck, I'm doing this. I'm shanking the ball. What am I doing? He's like, have you been doing your drills? No.
Nope.
Well, do your drills.
Now, you talked about product reviews. There's been a big OEM that's been in the news recently about asking for reviews of their apparel, only positive reviews, which I find an interesting strategy. Have you ever given negative reviews on a product? And what's kind of your strategy with product reviews? Do you go look for them? Do the brands come to you? Kind of, what's that look like for you?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we have to support ourselves, right? So we can't be, negative to someone who's paying us. What we do, and how, we're not, it's not rocket science. What we do is we bridge our ability to produce content, and thank you for your endorsement of the quality of our content. That's what we do well. We're broadcast professionals, and we, Travis is a phenomenal editor, and I'd like to think I'm a good writer and director and producer, and Colton's learning to produce. He's producing, and so we take our time. We think about what we're doing, and we try to get across your message and your story. So sometimes our reviews are not so much reviews as they are profiles of your product and stories. We like to call them stories. We're trying to tell your story. But we also online sometimes have stuff that's sent to us that we weren't paid to do something with, or they didn't buy any media to place in our show. And so we'll just do something as a review. And I try to be honest. I try to be, my friends always tease me, especially my golf friends, like my old partner, Tom Eberts, who's an old golf guy. He's a great producer, done a lot of stuff. He used to tease me. He's like, you never saw a product you didn't like, And I am bad that way, But I like the products usually because I figure a guy who invested his time and money and effort to build it, or to invest in it, he put his heart and soul into it, and he had an idea. And sometimes you see some things that are pretty rough, but for the most part, they got an idea and it's a good idea. Then I try to tell you what's the pros and the cons and how it fits, you know, and if it's value or not too. Sometimes guys get out there with products that are a little overpriced and kind of like, yeah, that's probably not going to work out. So, but I don't know about that. I mean, if I'm not going to, I mean, I guess the idea is there's so many people out there in the media business that are doing stuff for free or whatever, and they're doing stuff to get free stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not, you know, guilty of that. I've obviously done that like everybody else, but I think you've got to make it value. You've got to show people the value of your media, and you got to do a good job with your media, and give them quality and be honest. And if you're just getting stuff for free and then just telling them what they want to hear, I don't know. I don't know how value. That's not a review, you know. I don't know what that is, but it's not a review, you
I
know.
don't know what it is either, but it's definitely not a review.
No.
So
And then there's
you
guys like, you know, there's guys like what's the guy's name? I don't even know his name, but the My Golf Spy guy, you know, and he's a little bit more like the golf Nazi, you know. He's like, I don't. I apologize. That's a bad way to say it, but you know what I mean. He's hardcore, you know. He's like, I'm gonna tell you the truth, you know, and you gotta love that. I mean, he's thrown full tilt into it, and somehow he's found a way to make a living and make a little golf property, and good for him. I fully support what he's doing, you know. So that's a review probably more than anything else, you know. And if he wasn't honest, his forum members would tear him tear him apart,
Yeah,
right?
he couldn't do it if he wasn't honest. That's
Right,
for sure.
exactly.
Now, you've played a lot of golf courses over the years. What have been some of the most memorable experiences you've had while going and visiting a property and again, not reviewing it necessarily, but just telling the story of the property?
I just love our game, you know, and we've got, it doesn't matter where you go in the United States, you know, we've got properties that are just so phenomenal and run right as long as the management's done well. And I think that's the first thing I always notice, you know, and I will, you know, not to be obligatory, but Troon does that right. And I've always been really respectful of your properties. Um, we're lucky because we almost get to be private members after the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of getting in there, you know, hour maybe, you know, you get in there and you get an introduction and then you get a golf cart and then you get out there and you're like, this is amazing, you know? So I've been real lucky to be on just amazing properties all over the United States. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's, I mean, because I started my business in the Vail Valley. I love properties up there, obviously like Red Sky Ranch and the Vail Golf Club, which is just phenomenal, and even courses like Eagle Ranch. So I just love that environment there in the mountain golf, and the ball flies forever, and you feel like King Kong, you know, and all of that. And here in Denver, we've got, you know, wonderful Front Range properties. But you know, we just. You know, I don't have my memory's bad. I love one of the properties I love very much is Hammock Beach. I don't know if you know that property. It's down in Florida. It's right on the ocean. They have more ocean holes than any other property. And I've done a lot of work with them in Reunion Golf Course, which is a sister property of them. So I love that. In Vegas, I've done a lot of work with Bali High, which is just a neat, unique place, you know, in the world. I, you know, I do a lot of shooting at Grand Del Mar out in San Diego. Good friend of mine, Sean Cox, is the head pro out there, and use that, you know, do a lot of stuff at that property from time to time, and have shot at Aviera a lot. That great property out there as well. There's just, I mean, it doesn't matter. You know what's the coolest place I've been lately is the Patriot Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we were lucky to go there. You know, but that's the home of the Folds of Honor, and Major Dan Rooney started that property, and my son was with me. He was playing a baseball tournament, and Colton Little and myself and my son got to go out there and spend some time with Major Dan and be in his office and see his property, and wow. and every hole is named after a patriot of the United States, and there's a plaque and it commemorates that person. And at at 1 o'clock at 1300 hours, 1300 they do play taps at the golf course, which is very cool. And they've raised upwards of $15 million for fallen soldiers, families of fallen soldiers, using golf. And they have the Patriot Cup every year at Memorial Day there in Tulsa. So that's just epic, in my book.
So what other brands do you work with besides Golf Life? I mean, you're talking with all these manufacturers, all these golf courses. Are there any big brands that you're kind of partnered with that you work with a lot, or is it just kind of as they come about?
Well, thank you for letting me talk about my friends and people who have supported what we do. And Honma is a great company that we're working with now. And I don't know, do you know anything about Honma, Ricky?
No, I don't.
Well, it's a Japanese brand. It is, was started in the 50s. I mean, it's an old brand. And they have guys working there that have been working for the company for 30 and 40 years in Japan. The craftsmanship is like no other. They have more SKUs of golf clubs than you can imagine. It's stunning. Like no American golf company could ever have all of the options they have. They just wouldn't, because of the nature of the American golf manufacturing business. But they do. And I mean, in their forged iron line, there's 3 forged irons, 3 of them, and progressively. And then there's a cast iron that's like a forged iron that's amazing. It feels like a forged iron, which is a kind of a cavity back. And then they have this whole line of cavity backs that are progressive, and they have sets of irons that are upwards of $65,000, $75,000. They pretty much have whatever you can imagine. They have stuff that's handcrafted that with a graphite is unbelievable. In Santa Ana, they have a fitting center in the Roger Dunn store there. It's amazing. And as I said, they have a fitting center in this Seattle Mariners ballpark, which is awesome. If you ever get a chance, just fly into Seattle and go over there and hit some Honmas there, and just a great property. Another great brand that we work with is Fat Scooters. They've been a great partner this year. I worked with another sort of a skateboard type property, and that's a difficult business. As you can imagine, the alternative vehicle market, but it's so fun and it opens up the game and it makes the game so much fun. And Fat Scooters has nailed it. Their product is bulletproof. They're scooters. They're fat, wheels. You put a golf bag on the back and you get out on the golf course. I've had no trouble with the golf courses. They love them. They're low impact. They're electric. They'll go for 2 rounds of golf. Great battery. And you can drive them in your neighborhood. I have them in my garage here. My kids go out and drive around on them. And I love it. You jump on it right over the golf course. I got like 3 golf courses within, a close enough area to me. They'd go about 20 miles an hour. So I can ride over the golf course and go right out on the course and play a full round of golf and never even leave my golf scooter,
That's cool.
That's a property. We've got another great little brand that supports us and has for a while called High Heat, which is golf clubs designed by a guy named Dean Knuth, who's a wonderful guy. He was with the USGA, and Dean just set out. He's kind of a guy, he didn't set out to, I'll be honest with you, I really believe this. He didn't set out to make a lot of profit. I say that in a joking way. Obviously, his partner did, but he wanted to make golf clubs for guys like you and I, and give us the maximum capability of a golf club up to the limits of the USGA, and he did it. He's done it, and he explained. He's a real honest guy, so he explained to me why most manufacturers wouldn't do that because of the bell curve, right? They're not going to go to the very limits. So they might say they have a game improvement driver or iron, but they're not going to, maybe in certain categories like irons, they might have something really unique, really game improvement, but across the board. So they made woods. Their drivers, their fairway woods, and their hybrids are just I mean, you hit the tar out of them. They're crazy, you know, and they're consistent and big club face. So they've been a great supporter of us. And, you know, we've got a lot of other little accessories products that we love. Level Head is a neat little product that we have, and Grip Dry is another product that supports us, and 4 Yards More is a golf tee that's really great product, and all of those are useful tools that can help you with your game. And I'm probably forgetting somebody. There's a lot of brands that support us. We work with Cure Putters a lot. They're another high MOI putter that's going to help the average guy. So, yeah, it's great. I mean, our property performs for brands. You know, we tell stories and we reach a lot of people, and it runs and runs and runs. And then we work really hard online with social media and YouTube and golflife.com to do everything we can for you to help you get your name out there. So.
I think you just filled the entire 4th season of the show with brands. Like, I don't even need to just, hey, who's this week? I'll just ask you, and you'll just fill in the slots for season 4 of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
I talk a little bit more than I probably should, but thanks for your time.
Now, that was what's you talk about talking too much. I love it because we could talk all night. We've only been talking for about 45 minutes. We're only halfway done, right? And I hope we go a little faster than that because I'm running out of battery here on my laptop. But the front 9 was all business related, all golf life and all the things you have going on there. Let's have some fun on the back 9. So you ready for your back 9?
Oh, okay. Now you're going to throw me for a loop.
You sound so excited. Jeez.
I'm bad at this type of stuff, but we'll give it a shot.
Well, it's not rapid fire. I used to call it rapid fire. And take your time. I mean, the first question is this is a teaser. You posted a video, and it might not have been you because you don't even run your social media. You got another person doing it. And thanks for busting my bubble. You posted a video not too long ago with Bill Murray's swing, and it's not bad. What kind of reaction did you get from that? Because I don't honestly know if I've ever seen him swing a club until you posted that video.
Travis set out to find interesting golf swings. Just a great way to approach it. And he has found some it's amazing the stuff that's out there if you look for it. And I mean, he has an interesting approach to the ball, but he squares it up. I don't know if have you ever seen him play live?
No, I haven't. No,
he's a pretty good player. He figures that you tee to green, he gets it up and down. Gets that's around. Cool. We did for Fat Scooters. We went out to the Murray Brothers Invitational in Florida, and they do a great charity event with their new brand. William Murray and we unfortunately didn't get to spend a lot of time with Bill. From what I understand, I wasn't there. I had a crew on site, but there's days when he doesn't really want to be messed with. It's probably when he's playing golf. So he was.
I can see that.
Yeah, would you blame him?
So there are a lot of golf movies out there. I'm curious, what's your favorite?
Oh goodness, that's a tough one. Obviously, Caddyshack is I know all the lines and all, but I love Tin Cup. I'm from Texas, and that's my stomping grounds. And I love that scene where he's drunk and he's hitting tequila shots with Sergio, and he gets up in the morning and he goes he's late for his tee time. He goes, "Time for a quick bucket." He goes, "You're on the tee." I love that, just like a quick bucket. Yeah, I mean, and just a great. Every part of that movie is great. So probably got to be Tin Cup. Yeah,
I dig that. Now, Tiger and Phil are talking about a $10 million match.
I knew you were going to ask me this one.
Yeah, this has to come up. It's been nothing but in the news. I mean, Tiger just has to be in the news, right? So let's say that happens. What do you think happens with that? I mean, I think Tiger wins by 3, but I mean,
yeah, but you're a Tiger guy. Come on,
I'm a big Tiger guy.
You're a big Tiger guy. I don't know, man. Phil, come on. What? I mean, he's just Phil. First of all, it's betting, it's gambling.
That's why Phil's in, because it's.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just got more tread on the tire. I mean, he's just done it more lately, in the big stuff for longer lately than Tiger has. And I don't know. I just maybe, we all would love to think Tiger could do it. I'd love for him to do it anywhere. Wouldn't you?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
I was just watching this thing. I think it was on Golf Channel last night with Tiger, and it just brings back so many wonderful memories. And oh, I just love Tiger, love him. But Phil's gonna beat him in
No,
that
you're
setup.
wrong. He's not done. Really not.
I didn't
Next
say he was
question.
done. I did not say he was done. But
You're
head
right.
to head with Phil
Totally
for $10
separate.
million, I'm sorry, Phil's gonna just crush him.
Oh, you're so. I should just turn the laptop off right now. Just unacceptable. Now, you seem to like hashtags. I mean, hashtag golf gear and hashtag golf lifestyle, hashtag golf life TV. I'm a hashtag guy with hashtag Euro beer trip, hashtag the oven, my golf tournament, hashtag Wednesday match play, this show. My nickname is hashtag Ricky in the office. So, what's your favorite hashtag to use? I mean, again, you're going to spoil me and be like, I don't know, somebody else runs my Twitter account. That makes me so sad to know that. But what's your favorite hashtag when you're tweeting?
Okay, so complete transparency, my inner Obama, I guess, but I don't do anything on Twitter at
Oh,
all. Not a,
first Tiger, now
I
Twitter.
actually, I do. I kind of pay attention to Trump just because I'm a little conservative, but you know, and he's freaking nuts. But I don't. Travis is amazing at Twitter, but I will say on Instagram, I do. And Instagram, I'm a more of a Facebook guy. And so I've liked Instagram because it's kind of been a pathway to Facebook. And we've been working hard to work on our Instagram uh, profile. And I think we're doing a great job there. And we've got a lot of friends. And, I think hashtags are a key to sharing integrating with friends like yourself, Ricky. I mean, that's how we became friends. That's how we know each other.
Yeah.
Is through hashtagging and supporting. So my favorite hashtag is your hashtag. Is you. Is my client, my friend, the guy that I'm trying to share with. And if we're doing something for Callaway Golf Apparel, who has provided us wonderful golf gear, or home, or a golf course we're at, like Valley High or wherever, where we're doing a feature, and or an event, I'm gonna hashtag the heck out of them, right? And that's gonna help them, I hope, and then correspondingly, maybe they are reciprocal in that action, and that helps all of us. And we're all brothers and sisters in the same goal of keeping our game alive and building the golf lifestyle because we love it and we don't want to see it go away, and we don't want to see, we did a story this year in San Diego, well, not San Diego, but in Oceanside, California, um, on Goat Hill Park. Have you ever heard that story?
I
Are you
have.
familiar with
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we featured the Goat Hill Park, and that to me is when you talk about hashtagging and helping one another. That's the epicenter of that. That's the example of that, right? Where that was gonna become a parking lot for a big mall or something that overlooked the ocean, and then these guys, uh, John Ashworth and a bunch of other guys got together and they just went out there and saved it and saved our game. And it's a great story, and it's a great place to be. Guys out there walking the course with their dogs, and it's just awesome, and that's what we have to do. And getting kids out there, and kids are playing the game and getting their junior golf programs amazing, and that's what we need in this game. And so hashtag your friends. That's my favorite hashtag.
I love it. Now, where you live, a lot of good craft beers, a lot of good craft brewing companies. I'm
All
actually
right.
out. I mean,
Are we
so
doing that?
what?
My wife said I couldn't drink, so I haven't taken a drink. Can I drink?
Yeah, you can drink. Are you kidding me?
All right,
I've
let's
finished
do
a
it.
beer and a half since we've been doing this. That's absolutely okay. What's your favorite local craft brewery?
Oh, wow. Well, I actually, it's funny because they're out of business and it's just poor business management. There was this place called Nighthawk here that was right next to my kids' baseball facility and where we just started our our indoor sports facility, our basketball, volleyball facility. And they went out of business. And I was so sad, but um, there's so many. There's a place called Oddball over here in Lafayette that I love, and their stuff is great. There's a place called Four Noses right over here. It goes on and on and on. My favorite is probably going to be a friend of mine is starting a place called Highland Lake Brewery, and I was actually going to be involved in it, but it's up in Meade, Colorado. So that's a good 20 minutes from here. And I imagine my life with three teenagers and having to be up there and helping out and doing things for the brewery in Mead. And it'd be kind of hard to not have a beer or two and then try to figure out how to get 20 minutes down to the house. And yeah, so I backed out on that one. It didn't quite work with my
Probably the
life
best.
reality.
Yeah.
But they're going to be my new favorite brewery.
Now, I interviewed you when you were on the Friday Foursome on May 15th, 2015.
Oh my
I feel like
Lord.
it was, yeah, how long ago has that been? Do
It's
you
been a while.
remember the product we were promoting when you were interviewed on that show?
Was it H Wedge?
It was H Wedge, yes.
Okay.
You still involved with those guys? I see them still listed on your website, so you got to have some kind of connection.
Well, H Wedge is a property that I actually took on, and my company manages and owns the license to the property and the product. Did I lose you? Oh, there you go. And why the reason I did was because it's a wedge company that helps the average guy. And I go up and down the range. I'm on a golf course, and people struggle, and I just don't like to see it. And our game. The one thing I hate, I don't hate, but I don't know. The one thing about our game is that tradition's one thing, but holding on to old ideas that are harmful for your ability to play and enjoy the game is a whole nother thing entirely. And that's where I was talking about high heat. Like, you got a guy that's 65 years old out there with a 9-degree driver with a stiff or an extra stiff shaft. I mean, really? Get fit for Christ's sake. Get the product that works for you. And the H wedge that's the idea behind it is that it's, deeper center of gravity, force face forward design, lets the guys get out of the sand, get out of the rough, hit the ball higher and straighter. I will be honest with you, we've kind of slowed down that brand right now, and we're redesigning some of our product and our SKUs a little bit and refining it a little bit for next year. And it's gonna be interesting. But yes, we still sell them. They're still fully available, and we still help manage that company.
What's the best golf course you've ever played and the worst golf course you've ever played?
You with these questions, I don't have that kind of memory. Wow, uh, you're
For
killing
the
me.
best, feel free to say any Troon property. That'd be fine.
What is the best golf course I've ever played? Probably, you know what? It's not. I'm sorry, it's not a Troon property, but probably the golf course I was maybe the most excited about playing, and it met my expectations of what they do as designers was the Colorado Golf Club in Parker, which is designed by Ben Crenshaw, who is my favorite golfer of all time, and Bill Kerr. And Crenshaw Kerr do golf courses that they let the land lay, and they find property that they don't do a lot. They don't tear it up a lot. They just kind of like let the train flow, And that property does that as well as any property I've ever been on. It's just beautiful. And, just the way that he lets the terrain go, is gorgeous and just an amazing property for sure. Um, well, worst golf courses. There's a lot of golf courses that I've been on. I mean, in the old days, there was this course in the here in Colorado it's actually become a decent golf course now because Tom Lehman went in and redesigned it. But when it was first built, the developer died. And I think it was called Eagle's Nest. It was in Silverthorne, and now it's the Three Peaks at what is it? It's the Raven at Three Peaks. That's what it is. It's in Silverthorne, Colorado. But when it was first built, the developer died about midway through. He was an Asian guy, and they didn't finish the clubhouse. And the back nine, they just had to let it go. And it's in the mountains, right? I mean, on the side of a hill, you had these crazy, stupid downhills, and you'd have to go down and then hit back up, and the flag would be 25 feet tall, so you could see the pin stick, and you'd get up there, it's just this flag that was this. And that was probably one of the craziest places. And then any property where, the Cordillera Mountain Course always got a knock because it's a great golf course in certain parts, but then there's a couple holes where the developer took over and they wouldn't let them build. And it was actually a Hell Irwin design, and the developer took over and they wouldn't let them build the course right. And so they got these stupid holes. They're like, what the heck? And so anytime that the developer encroaches on the property with development too much and isn't respectful of the game, I think that's a stupid golf course. I understand the real estate and I understand the real estate boom and all of that, but there's been so many great properties that were built where they integrated the homes, but still when you're in the golf course, you feel like you're in the game. And I always look for courses like that where you feel like, and I tell you, a course that will surprise you is Bali High. I've said that course before, but it's crazy. The airplanes will drive you nuts. But once you're out there, you forget that you're on the strip. But you're right next to the strip, and you're right there in Vegas. If you like Vegas, that's kind of cool,
I love Vegas.
Yeah, Desert Pines is another great property there that's like that. Royal Links is cool as hell because they really did a great job with that course with, replica holes from the British Open holes. But that course will tell you a new one. That's a tough course when the wind blows. It's a tough golf course. So, yeah.
Now, be careful how you answer this. I'm a Tiger fan. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
I think the answer is going to be no. And I hate to say it. I hate it a lot because, there have been guys that have come back, and Jack's one of them, and Ben Crenshaw's one of them, who had that magical run at the Masters, and both of them did. And then we saw Tom Watson do that, a couple times, and almost did it in the British Open. But I think 3 is tough. And 4 is really hard. And my reasoning is there's just too many great golfers. I mean, the game we're lucky. If you don't love golf now, you never loved golf in the beginning, or you never knew golf, because we had Tiger, we had Tom Watson, we had Jack Nicklaus. We didn't have 25 guys that are amazing like we do now. We've got more great golfers at any given moment than any time in the history of golf. And not to disrespect the great golfers of our past, but there wasn't that volume. There weren't, and it's video, it's technology, it's
Tiger.
It's Tiger. And not just Tiger, other great golfers, I mean, Ben Hogan and his book and everything. I mean, there's a lot of people that are references out there of how to learn. But you're right. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be on the tour range, and you walk up and down, and they're like machines. And the majority of the guys have Tiger swing. You're on plane, Justin Rose, uh, you know, any number of guys, Rory, Tiger. I mean, they're all like Tiger. You have your outliers, you have your Sergios with the deep lag, and Rory with his deep lag, but he so did Tiger. Tiger had that too, right? I mean, I actually tell this story. I'm also a bit of a photographer at times, and I've been on the range, and the two guys that gave me the most trouble were Rory and Sergio, because I get the timing of everybody else right at impact of the golf ball, right? And you click the shutter and you catch it right at impact. And it's a timing thing. It's just, it's a skill, and you get good at it. And those two guys, I would try to get their ball right at impact, and their club face would still be at parallel. And I'm like, what the hell, And I do it again and do it again. And I was like, I couldn't, because they have that extra split second ability to hang on like Tiger did. And he's the only other guy that I ever saw that was like that. So, yeah, I think that's why he can't do it, because I think there's just too many great guys, out there. And, I mean, you saw Brooks Koepka. Yeah, I mean, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
How he just, I'm going to repeat as a U.S. Open champion, and just did it,
And he could walk past me tomorrow, and I wouldn't have any idea who he is.
That's really crazy too, right? Like, how does he come out of nowhere and just dominate twice in a row, But maybe it's courses for horses, it's kind of thing, right?
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been so great. It's been a long time since we've had a chance to connect. But before I let you go, one more question of your hashtag Wednesday Match Play presented by Eat Sleep Golf is, what's next? I mean, you got like 17 projects you're working on, but what's the next few months and next year look like for you in golf life?
Well, the great thing about golf life is that we have a good flow, and we have good partners, and we tell good stories. So that is my, that's cruising nicely. And I have a great team, and they love what they do. So what's next for us is, the same. It's the life of golf, right? We don't only cover the lifestyle of golf for you and your lifestyle. That's the whole idea, right? Is your golf life. That's what we tried to do all along. But also the game of golf and the business of golf has a life, an annual life. So we're starting to transition into the fall, and we start to, we'll go to Vegas. We do this great event out there called America's Golf Festival, and we'll do some stuff there. I'm going to go down to Atlanta and do some stuff there in late July, which is not the greatest time to be in Atlanta, but there's some great companies that we work with there. And then, of course, in the fall, we'll head out to the Gulf Coast and work with great manufacturers and different companies and what have you out there, and kind of start to see the new styles, the new models of golf clubs, and new designs, and the stories, follow the stories that companies are trying to get out there as they start to prepare for January, when the golf season starts again, right? We all know that that's the beginning of the golf season, even though most people think it's the Masters in April. We're all scrambling in January. So just kind of that's our golf life, is following the seasons of golf, and we enjoy it. And, and then our golf studio, and hoping to try to thank you so much for the time, helping us get the message out that you can watch us on any platform. You don't just have to catch us on Fox Sports, but also, download our app. And please do go to the Play Store, go to to iTunes, and download our app, and at least get it on your phone, and try it out. I think you'll be impressed.
That's awesome. Well, it's always so good to catch up with you. I'm going to be, I might unfollow Golf Life on Twitter now, just because I know it's not you. Like,
wait a second. No, Travis is your buddy. And you gotta give Trav a thumbs up, because
very good golf clap. Yes.
Because that dude digs deep, and you know, he's wonderful. So.
I am gonna tweet him and be like, "So you're not Michael?" Like, it'll be fun. I'll have a good time with that. That'll be fun for me at least.
When he first started doing that, I used to give him a hard time because he brings in his, you know, the Cubs and the Blackhawks and all of this kind of stuff. I'm like, really, dude? This is golf. Like, you're supposed to be golf life, like not Travis Harper's Cubs stuff. You know, because I'm a Rockies fan, so I'm like, the Cubs. You know.
That's awesome. Well, this episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, it'll be on YouTube, it'll be on iTunes, it'll be on Google Play via podcast, it'll be easy to find, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus Golf community. Do this. Get him to start posting more in the golf community. We got 26, almost 27,000 members there. It's a very active community.
In your Google Plus? I think it's wonderful. What is up with that? I got to ask you a question before you wrap it up. Why do people not use Google Plus? Because it's awesome. But people,
they do.
But they do, right?
They do.
Maybe
Absolutely.
some people don't, but a lot of people do, right?
Yeah, 1.3 billion active accounts.
Yeah,
so it's one of the top 5 most active social networks.
All right, so I guess we need to start focusing on it. I'll tell Trav. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe it will be Mike Billingsley doing it.
That would be fantastic. I think that would be a revelation.
I'll make you that commitment.
I love it.
I'll start doing that.
Awesome. And again, anybody that's watching this, make sure if you haven't already, click the subscribe button down below. Leave your comments down below. Any questions you have for the team at Golf Life, let us know, and I'll make sure to get answers to those. And as always, on the Hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.